Rome, 96 AD. The imperial palace is silent, save for the hurried footsteps of conspirators moving in the shadows. Somewhere deep within the labyrinth of corridors, the Emperor Domitian, master of Rome, feared by many, loathed by more, sits unaware that the final moments of his life are fast approaching. He has ruled for 15 years, a reign defined by paranoia, bloodshed, and an iron grip on power. But even emperors cannot outrun fate. Domitian was no ordinary ruler. The son of Vespasian and brother of the beloved Titus, he was the last of the Flavian dynasty. At first, his reign held promise. He restored Rome's economy, reinforced its borders, and even initiated grand building projects that reshaped the city. But beneath the polished exterior lurked a ruler consumed by suspicion. He saw betrayal in every shadow, conspiracy behind every whisper. As his fear of enemies, both real and imagined, grew, so too did his cruelty. Senators were executed on the slightest suspicion of treason. Friends became informants. The empire trembled under his tyranny. The tension reached a breaking point. The Senate despised him. The aristocracy feared him. Even those closest to him, the ones who once whispered words of loyalty, had grown tired of his rule. A plot took shape in the halls of power, an intricate web of deception spun by men who knew that only one outcome was possible. Domitian had to die. Among the conspirators was his trusted chamberlain Parthenius. Few men had such intimate access to the emperor, and fewer still knew his weaknesses. But Parthenius was not alone. He was joined by Maximus, a freedman and steward, Stephanus, a court official who had feigned loyalty to get close, and even members of Domitian's own Praetorian Guard, men sworn to protect him. Their plan was meticulous. They waited for the perfect moment, ensuring that when they struck, it would be swift and final. On September 18th, the morning seemed like any other. Domitian followed his routine, but unease clung to the air. Perhaps he felt it in his bones, the weight of fate pressing down upon him. The omens had been grim. Days earlier, his favorite astrologer had predicted his imminent death. Domitian, ever the superstitious ruler, had grown increasingly agitated, demanding sacrifices to appease the gods. But the gods were silent. Stephanus made his move first. Feigning an injury, he wrapped his arm in bandages to conceal a dagger. He approached Domitian in his private chambers, claiming he had urgent news of a conspiracy. The emperor, ever wary but intrigued, leaned in to listen. That was the moment the blade struck. It plunged into his chest, a fatal betrayal from someone he never suspected. Domitian fought, struggling against his assailant, but the others rushed in. The room became a whirlwind of violence, daggers flashing, bodies grappling. The emperor, the most powerful man in the world, was overwhelmed. He collapsed, his blood staining the marble floors of his palace, and with him the Flavian dynasty came to an end. Word of his death spread swiftly. The Senate, long suffocated under his rule, rejoiced. They moved quickly to erase his legacy, issuing a Damnatio Memoriae, an official condemnation that sought to obliterate his name from history. Statues were torn down, inscriptions defaced, coins melted. It was as if Domitian had never existed. But history has a way of remembering what some wish to forget. Was Domitian truly the tyrant his enemies painted him to be? Or was he a misunderstood ruler, one who sought stability but succumbed to the very paranoia he created? His assassination was not just the fall of a man, it was the collapse of an era, a brutal reminder that in Rome, even emperors were never truly safe. The empire moved on, as it always did. A new ruler, Nerva, was hastily declared emperor. The conspirators had won, but in their victory, they had set a precedent that would echo through the ages. The assassination of Domitian was not just an act of political rebellion, it was a a message that no emperor, no matter how powerful, was beyond the reach of a dagger in the dark.